Hello, Zimbabwe, and welcome to Live Talk. We're coming to you live from Studio 7 at the Voice of America in Washington, and I'm your host, Marvelous Mhlanga-Nyahuye. Today on Live Talk, we are looking at the developments surrounding the legitimacy of one Sengezo Chabangu, who is being challenged in court by the CCC, who say he is not the Secretary General and therefore has no right to recall lawmakers and councillors. But first, a deal between Israel and Hamas to free dozens of hostages held in Palestinian territories may be underway, according to a new report. Such a deal would likely bring at least a temporary pause to the fighting in Gaza and much-needed aid across the border. U.S. and Israeli officials say any such deal is not yet finalized. VOA's Arash Arabisadi has more.
The Washington Post reports that Israel and the U.S.-designated terror group Hamas are now close to agreement on a U.S.-brokered deal to release dozens of hostages taken by Hamas in exchange for a 5-day pause in fighting that would allow a significant boost to humanitarian aid.
We are not finished. There is not yet a deal in place, and I think it would be premature to conclude that this is inevitable given how close we have come in the past. And I think one thing that I won't do is go through all the outstanding areas in which there are still negotiations. We don't negotiate these things in public, but it is a very high priority to try to get this done. They're making some progress, and we hope that that will be concluded soon so that these people can finally come home.
Israel's military has been conducting ongoing assaults on Gaza since Hamas brazenly attacked the country on October 7. About 1,200 people died in that attack, with what's believed to be around 240 hostages taken, many still missing.
We are hopeful that we can get a significant number of hostages freed in the coming days. I don't want to go into the details of these talks. They are obviously very sensitive. The less we go into the details, the better the chances of such a deal. But they are very serious efforts, and I'm hopeful that we can have a deal in the coming days.
In the weeks following October 7, Israeli airstrikes and ground offensives killed more than 12,000 Palestinians, most of them civilians, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry in the West Bank. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees, or UNRWA, estimates about 900,000 displaced people are sheltering in their facilities across the Gaza Strip, a number 6 times higher than their planned worst-case scenario. The World Health Organization reports Gaza's largest medical facility, the Shifa Hospital, is littered with medical and solid waste, with a mass grave holding at least 80 bodies outside. But a recent effort by the WHO and the UN successfully evacuated premature babies to a site south of the facility.
For many of them, it's just, they're thinking about how they provide for their family tomorrow. But increasingly, people are very worried about what does the future hold for them. Where are they going to live? Where are they going to get their children educated? What does the future hold? And that's the big question in the minds of Gazans right now.
The back and forth between Israel and Hamas is now in its 6th week, with only a fraction of humanitarian aid having so far reached Palestinian civilians caught in the crossfire. For them, a pause in fighting could mean the difference between death and life-saving supplies that cross the border. Arash Arabisadi, VOA News.
Sue Kolb loved owning alpacas so much that she created an alpaca farm in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, where visitors can interact and learn about these adorable animals. Colby, a retired U.S. Army colonel and former Pentagon employee, now enjoys her dream retirement on her scenic farm. Mia Kay has the story.
I learned about alpacas about 2 years before I was going to retire. So I spent up to 34 years and 9 months in the military overall. So I started this business about 10 years ago, but really it started out as a hobby. I really enjoyed being around the alpacas. I had 4 of them that I started with.
There we go. There we go.
But then I purchased some more, and I also bred and more alpacas were born here on the farm. So now I have 37 alpacas. They love to be, they have to be next to their mom because they're still nursing, but they love to frolic and run around and race. They go so fast. They'll run down the pasture and run back, and they want other crias to chase after them, and they play. It's just like little kids. It's adorable. For a number of years, it was not profitable. Unless you can really find an outlet for your alpaca fleece. But I found that giving the tours has really been nice. I enjoy it. I enjoy sharing my alpacas with other people. I opened a shop. I opened my alpaca shop here on the farm, and then after the tour, I take people in there. Everything in there is made out of alpaca, and people really love the items in there. Well, I wanted to raise some animals that I didn't need to slaughter in order to make some additional money after I retired. So, I didn't want cows or pigs or something like that. So alpacas, you just shear them once a year, and it doesn't hurt them. They actually like it, and it is important to do that because of their health too, because they cannot get overheated with their fleece. So before the summer comes, they're sheared, and so they run around. They really like it after they're sheared. If I had to choose all over again, going back 10 years ago, I definitely would do the same thing I did. I would definitely get alpacas. I love them so much. They're so cute, and they provide so much peace to me.
And now back to our main topic. Lawmakers representing the opposition CCC were at the High Court today challenging the legitimacy of one Sengenzo Shabangu, who claims to be the interim Secretary General of the party. Shabangu has been recalling lawmakers and councillors despite a High Court interdict to stop the recalls. Addressing reporters at the High Court, CCC lawyer Obey Shava said the matter was now postponed to tomorrow.
Last week we appeared before Justice Chitapi, and the matter was postponed to today at 2:30 for argument. In the meantime, the judge had given directives, the timelines within which to file our respective papers. The first respondent, Mr. Shabangu, was directed to file his opposing papers by end of business on Thursday, and we were going to file our answering affidavit by end of business on Friday. That hasn't happened because Mr. Shabangu then filed his papers on Friday. As a result, we were only able to file our own papers this morning. So the judge needs time to go through the papers, and we are coming back to court tomorrow at 2:30 for argument. And in the meantime, the interim order which was granted by the court last week remains in force. Ms. Shabangu is not allowed to effect any further recalls until this matter has been finalized.
That there was opposition CCC lawyer Obey Shava in Harare. One of the lead lawyers representing Shabangu, Advocate Louis Uriri, told reporters that his team has filed an urgent High Court application to bar nominated CCC members from contesting the upcoming by-elections under the CCC banner.
It was simply that the parties were unable to meet the deadlines that were set by the judge last week because of system issues. The result was that the matter was postponed until tomorrow at 2:30. Well, we can confirm that the application is being filed. Remember that these people were recalled by the CCC. They challenged their recall in the High Court. The High Court upheld their recall. As a result, we know for a fact, a legal fact, that they ceased to be members of Parliament on account of their recall by the CCC. They then proceeded to file nomination papers under the CCC, the very same party which had recalled them. Our law knows no such absurdity. The party that recalled them did not sign their nomination papers. They were improperly therefore nominated, and we will be seeking that they be expunged from the list of those that were validly nominated, such that they will not be on the ballot paper.
Advocate, what's the...
That there was one of the lead lawyers representing Sengezo Shabangu, Advocate Louis Uriri in Harare. Meanwhile, CCC member Jameson Timber was also at the courts. He gave his opinion on the new order filed today barring nominated CCC members from contesting in the by-election next month.
Chokutanga mapepa iwayo atisati taona changangotaura izvo kuti handizivi kuti kana vaChabangu vachitaura kuti vaisa mapepa kukoti kuda kubisa makandidates eCCC vanenge vachitaura saka ndo mubvunzo wekutanga, asi mubvunzo uyu ndokwanisa kuzopindura kana ichinge ndaona mapepa avo, asi mapepa avo hasitaonekwa.
That was CCC member Jameson Timber in Harare. Please stay tuned as we take a brief break.
In times of change, when the world seems uncertain and what we hear doesn't reflect what we see, we seek the truth. When we are told only part of the story, we lose trust. In moments of crisis, our dreams, hopes, and wishes for a better tomorrow depends on a free press. At Voice of America, we bring you the stories that people take risks to see. We connect the world and unite it with truth. At Voice of America, we show you the whole picture.
For those that have just joined us, please note that we are streaming live on all our Facebook pages, VOA Shona, VOA Studio 7, and VOA Ndebele. And we're also live on YouTube at VOA Zimbabwe. And today we're discussing the fight over the control of the CCC. We'll also be discussing the urgent High Court application to bar nominated CCC members from contesting in the upcoming elections in December under the CCC name. And to discuss the issue, we are joined by Francis Mufambi of ZANU-PF, Godfrey Kuraone of the CCC, and we're also trying to get hold of Sengezo Shabangu's lawyer, Kobani Sitole, who had said would be able to join us. So welcome to the Live Talk, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
I'll start off with you, Mr. Kuraone of the CCC. What's your take on what we're seeing happening in the courts?
What you are seeing in the courts is marvelous. It's nothing new. It's something that we've seen before. We saw this court taking MG Salah and MP and donated them to Kodani Kupe, who was a contesting candidate in the same election. That madness has never been seen in this world before, but we saw it happening. So this is nothing new. It's one of the same things that is being repeated. In a quest to get two-thirds majority, we know Chabangu is not by himself. We know Chabangu has no capacity to do whatever he's doing, and we know Chabangu has no capacity even to hire a legal representative. So we know who is paying behind him, we know who is sponsoring him, we know whose ideas is he fronting. So it's very clear that Chabangu is not his own person, but there's a force behind whatever he's doing right now.
Over to you, Mr. Mufambi. You're hearing what Mr. Kuraone there of CCC is saying. What's your take on what we're seeing happening? Does ZANU-PF have a hand in what we're seeing happening in Parliament and in the courts right now?
Okay, good evening, Marvelous, and good evening, listeners. I think let me have to indicate that Chamisa and Chaban's malicious approach to politics is actually exactly a FPO on the country with an estimated expenditure exceeding $5 million, culminating from a by-election which symbolizes political errors of kindergarten proportion. It is also made for me to add that ZANU-PF has no paternity whatsoever to do with the implosion that is happening in the opposition, as we are focused on delivering a mandate that has been given by the people that will leave a long-lasting legacy for the country. However, we should note that we are political animals, and the Revolutionary Party is always ready to participate in all democratic processes, and we are glad that certain sections of the Zimbabwean population have been given another chance to right their wrongs. So it's quite evident, Marvelous, that the TPC is not and has never been a viable alternative to Zimbabwe, given not just the events of the past week, but the DNA of the party. It's a party that has been born out of division and from a record of neglect and utter dereliction of responsibility. So we are hopeful that the electorate is witnessing this civil war, and they are also opening their eyes to know what the TPC represents. So for us, actually, an example I can give you is the Maputo case, which shows ZANU-PF's character, because Congress Court never left the masses even after considering in August. He actually pledged to do more for the people of Maputo. This is the honor, this is the chance that they got from court. And they are voting for him, or voting for ZANU-PF is voting for progress and development. And so, of course, we are looking forward to definitely widen our debate in Parliament and to show mature leadership for the people of Zimbabwe. And then that's not Marvelous. Let me highlight that we do not wish to comment on matters before the court, especially when these matters have nothing to do with us.
Toya kwamuri vakuraone muri kunzwa zviri kutaurwa navamufambi hanzi aiwa muri kuvazora ivo mafuta enguruve yavasina kubaya munoti
it's marvelous. It's very clear to anyone who has eyes. It's very clear to anyone who wants to see. But if you don't want to see, you remain adamant and say that is not involved. But look here, I'll give you a few scenarios. When someone wrote a letter to the speaker says he don't have the mandate to decide who is the real TPC. All he does is to act on the letter written to him. And then this guy who wrote his letter to the same speaker, claiming that he is recalling ZANU-PF MPs. And what did the speaker do? He kept mum as if nothing has happened. So this is a clear indication that he is selectively applying his rule depending on which party is being affected. We know ZANU-PF don't agree, but we know they are eager to get 2/3 majority so that they can amend the constitution and can remove the 2-term limit for the president. That is the agenda, which is very clear, and we don't.
Vamfambi, you're hearing what Mr. Kuraone is alleging there. He says your party, ZANU-PF, is literally doing this to get 2/3 majority in Parliament because if this new agent application is done, that means that some CCC members might not be able to contest, meaning that your ZANU-PF candidates will go uncontested in the by-election. What do you say?
Marvelous. What I can actually say is, I know that Kuraone and his colleagues are very aware that they are going to lose these elections because they have cheated the people before. And I know that the CCC and Chamisa's actions raise a lot of questions, especially about whether they are still engaged in collegiate politics or they are yet to transition to the realities of statesmanship. What kind of leadership, Marvelous, does not take responsibility for its failures and shortcomings? So how can you explain how ZANU-PF was part of them not having structures? How was ZANU-PF part of them not having a constitution until maybe today the written something they call a constitution which is so undemocratic to say. So in the broader spectrum, it's clear this party has never been formed to prioritize the interests of the people of Zimbabwe or nation building, but it's there to push the resolution agenda that has been that actually covers the interests of the West. So basically, we don't take seriously all those allegations they're trying to give us. Because I can give you an example. Last time when they were killing the MDC, there were things that happened in the MDC. The one for Washington Union, the one for Zimbabwe, and the same Washington Union are now ZANU-PF. But those people later came back into their party and they were senior officials within the same party. So how come they are still blaming ZANU-PF for things that they do internally? I don't get it, Marvelous. Thank you.
Mr. Kurawone, you're hearing there, Mr. Mufambi is saying that this is an internal matter. You know, it came about because there are no structures in CCC. What's your take?
That is their problem. They think that every political party must be structured in a way that it is structured. They think that every political party should be run in a way that the PF party is being run. They think that the PF is the landmark and the benchmark of political parties. No. Each party chooses how it wants to be run. Each party chooses how it wants to be structured. So they expect us to have political. They expect us to have the Center for Administration. They expect us to have a political committee. We don't want that. We are our own selves. So we govern ourselves the way we want to be governed. So they should just acknowledge that. So if you don't have, who then was our presidential candidate? Cultural structure. They don't know who is who. It's don't have our secretary, but they want to know so that they insist us. But they don't know. But we have them. It was very clear that Chabangu is not a party of that structure. He is not anywhere near the structure of our party.
Okay, I have a listener here who's writing on our Shona VOA page, and that's Temba Mugochi saying Shabangu is a ZANU-PF project, so if he takes the case to court, he wins because Ndivo Vakamutuma. Mr. Mufambi, you're hearing there, one of our listeners is saying, no, Mr. Shabangu is definitely a project of your party because he's been getting access to the courts and he's been listened to by the Speaker of Parliament. Your take?
Okay, definitely. I think I already highlighted to you that I'm not here to discuss matters that are before the court, because that is the prerogative of the court to make decisions. And I am here to represent the Revolutionary Party, and our position is clear. Our position is that as the Revolutionary Party, we are focused on delivering a mandate that is given by the people. And I'm here also maybe to highlight here that we are, as we heard from Kurawone, you can confirming that their party is not democratic. He is actually confirming that their party is not a voluntary organization, which political parties are meant to be. He is actually confirming that they are running a couch or more of an oracle, which brings Zimbabwe back to the Stone Age the politics whereby party states were being run by emperors or by those dictatorial leaders. And at this stage, in this modern day, as a party, as ZANU-PF, we fought for democracy. We brought democracy to Zimbabwe, and we get concerned when those people who are saying they are an alternative are actually clarifying to the people that they are not there to bring democracy to the people of Zimbabwe. And it's significant disagreement to have such kind of a leadership. And next time, I think we will do better and represent the party in a much better way, because you can't be here to tell Zimbabweans that you don't believe in structures, because political parties are meant to be voluntary organizations. So how can a person be in a voluntary organization and not have rights? How can people actually be students of Chanisa only in a party, a political party that is meant to become a government in waiting? no, that cannot actually be acceptable.
Mr. Kuraone, if you could respond to what Mr. Mufambi of ZANU-PF just said there.
You know what is marvelous? In this whole thing of CCC against Chabangu, if these people were not involved, I was expecting Mr. Mufambi to just come and say, no, I cannot comment about CCC issues. I'm not part of it. But the fact that he has said to defend ZANU-PF on the issue of CCC against Chabangu,
Mr. Kuraone, just give me 1 second. Let me take a caller and I'll come back to you. Hello, caller Makadi.
Ripo Makadiyo.
Aiwa, tiri wadi tukutaura nani muri kupi caller?
Andakunzwa?
Tiri kutaura nemi muri kupi caller?
Ndiri ku Johannesburg, South Africa.
Taurai tinzwi.
Hello?
Ehe, taurai fungwa dzenyu caller.
Okay, ndarasika maererano nei?
Tanga tiri kutarisa zviri kuitika mumatare panyaya yavasha bangu.
Okay, handifungi kuti vane right yekurambidza uyu kuti macandidates aconteste muzita rekuti triple C. Handifungi kuti vanayo right iyo. Because president weparty ane right yekuisa macandidates anoda.
Thank you so much, they caller.
Constitution.
Thank you so much, Maita Basa caller. There's also Nyasha Jami Sitole from our Facebook page. Arikuti ndokumbira okuvunza kuti vachamisa ndiye mutungamiri we-CCC akwanise kudzinga here vashabangu ava. Vakuraone pindurai tinzwi.
Augo ndikaita piti kuti augoni kudzinga munhu asiri member yeparty yako. First and foremost, you have to be a member of the party first and be guided by the rules and regulations of the party. And after that, then the party will be able to take procedures against you in terms of disciplinary hearing and all other disciplinary procedures. But can also remember, he is not part of the CCC.
Saka sisinyasha pamanzwa muvunzo wenyu wapindurwa hanzi vasha vangu havagone kudzingwa nekuti havasi member ye-CCC. Over to you, Mr. Mufambi, if you can give us your last word. I understand we've lost Mr. Mufambi. So Mr. Kuraone, your last word, then I will just read what some of the listeners are saying here.
Okay, I was saying it's marvelous. The fact that Mr. Mufambi was here defending ZANU-PF, the fact that he was here defending Chabangu, and the fact that he was here trying to poke his nose onto CCC and Chabangu issues, it shows that there is great interest in this issue. It shows that they are somehow involved in this issue. If they were not involved, they could just come here and say, no, I cannot answer on issues. I'm not part of him. I cannot answer on the Chabangu. I'm not part of him. But now he was here defending Chabangu. Here defending ZANU-PF, which is not even part of this issue. So it shows that they are involved.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, Mr. Mufambi's line dropped. So thank you there, Mr. Francis Mufambi, who was here on behalf of ZANU-PF. And thank you also to you, Mr. Godfrey Kuraone. And that brings us to the end of our show. Signing off in Washington, I'm Marvelous Mhlanga Nyahuye.